Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Just a quick one here. I'm going to give you an overview of what I've got in my collection. Probably going to need to break down this video into possibly 3 parts, but I'll try and fit it into 2. This one, fairly recent addition, Cannonball Adderley, Something Else. Like I say, new addition to the collection. And I've not really ever been into jazz, and there's only certain kinds of jazz. There's so many subgenres, I don't even know what I like and what I don't like, so maybe we're going to have to do a little bit of reading up and a little bit more listening of this stuff. But this album's absolutely fantastic. It's like I said, it's a new one, it's a repress, but it's the separation between the instruments on the album's fantastic. So clear. Crank up the volume a little bit and it just sounds amazing through my speakers. But yeah, part of my small jazz collection. Again, I don't know, jazz, blues, possibly borderline between the two, which is how I got more into jazz. I was buying quite a lot of these kinds of albums from charity and thrift stores. This one came from a charity store, and there's a few of them which are borderline between blues and jazz, and that's how I started exploring the world of jazz. Like I say, there's the more bluesy jazz I like. It's kind of that crossover, but there's it's a fine line. But yeah, Coco Arnold, Master of the Blues, fantastic album. Something a bit different. Richard Ashcroft, lead singer of The Verve. This is an album which, this is a new repress. Again, I've only had this one for a couple of weeks. Again, the clarity of the pressing of this record is amazing. I've only listened to it once, but it's a good buy. Blackberry Smoke, bit of southern rock. I think this is their 3rd album. I've got the first 2 on CD, but every song that these guys bring out I just love. I don't think they've released an album with a song on there that I don't like. This is a gatefold album. Blackberry Smoke, Find a Light. Well worth giving them a listen if you've not heard any of their stuff. Highly recommend. More thrift stroke charity shop finds. Big Bill Bruns, he sings the country blues. Again, I love these old blues albums, and you tend to be able to pick them up in the thrift and charity stores for just a few pounds. But yeah, every time I pass a charity store, I've got to pop in there and see if I can find some classy blues albums. Another Big Bill Brunsy. I think I got this one off Discogs if I remember rightly. Big Bill Brunsy, Volume 1, 1934 to 1947. Particularly like putting these on late at night. Bit of subdued lighting, bit of atmosphere. Eric Clapton, this is just one of my Eric Clapton albums, 461 Ocean Boulevard. I think this was from a charity store. Still got the sticker on, £6.99. Gatefold sleeve. But you can't go wrong with Clapton. Again, so many albums to choose from. But yeah, one of my Clapton albums. I'll maybe dig the other ones out. Albert Collins, again, still got the price tag on, £7.99. Probably one of the more expensive ones from a charity shop. Possibly this was a record store, if I remember. I can't remember. I don't know. Albert Collins, amazing. This was the first album I bought, which is jazz. And again, this came from a recommendation of one of the vinyl community members, and I can't for the life of me remember who it was. Should maybe give them a shout out, eh? I'll find out and I'll stick it down in the comments. This one's a repress, 2018 repress, and it's on blue vinyl. It's kind of, I don't know if your camera will pick this up, it's kind of got a blue marbling effect with the 6i label. Kind of blue, Miles Davis. But yeah, it's one of those albums that again, late at night, you know, good atmosphere, and it's really laid back, a bit like the Cannonball Adderley album, same kind of vibe to it. But there's one track on here which is, I believe, sorry, no, it's not this album, I'm getting mixed up, it's a different album I'm thinking of. Another thrift store find, Ella Fitzgerald. Love this kind of stuff. Blues, jazz, again, it's that crossover stuff. Really need to do a bit of reading up on the old different jazz genres. Blind Boy Fuller. I believe I got this one off Discogs if I remember rightly. Just can't get enough of this stuff. Absolutely amazing stuff, I love it. Grin. Now, this is actually Nils Lofgren. He's a guitarist, a member of the Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band, and he's also played with other people, Neil Young, but this was a band that he was in back in the sort of early 70s. I think they only released 3 or 4 albums. But absolutely love this guy. He's highly underrated, excellent guitarist. But yeah, all things Springsteen, I just can't get enough of either. I'm a big Bruce Springsteen fan. Nils Lofgren obviously does his own stuff as well right now when he's not playing with the E Street Band. So yeah. Compilation album of jazz. Again, I think this was an eBay find. I got 4. I got this, and I got another Jack T. Green, another 3 Jack T. Green albums, and again, just it's jazz that I like, but I can't quite put my finger on the subgenre. But I know what I like when I hear it. This was a record store find. This Ted Hawkins. I'd never heard of the guy. Just reading through the song titles on the back, album's called The Next 100 Years, but as I say, I was reading through the song titles. It looked quite bluesy, and the guy's got quite a bluesy look to him, so I thought I'd just give it a punt, you know, and just, like I said, I'd never heard of the guy. Thought I'll buy it, give it a go. I think I paid £6 or £7 for it. It's in really good condition. The sleeves in sort of, you know, quite good state of condition, as is the vinyl. No cracks, no pops. But yeah, bought it home, give it a listen, liked it. It's very bluesy. Went to put it onto Discogs to find that it's actually worth quite big money. This, certainly more than £6. I think the cheapest on Discogs went for 46 if I remember rightly, but the highest over 100. I don't know if it's because it was his last album before he died that sent the price up, but like I said, I'd never heard of the guy, but quite a pricey album to get hold of. You can't have a blues collection without a bit of John Lee Hooker. This is a double album. Boogie a While. Speaks for itself, really. Bit more Johnny Lee, The Boogeyman. Again, late night blues. Elmore James, king of the slide guitar on Ace Records. Absolutely love this guy. Again, it's that kind of late night blues stuff. Blind Lemon Jefferson. This one's a bit crackly and poppy, but I think it's because of the tapes that the recording's been made from are going to be pretty old. 1902 to 1942, the recordings on here. Sorry, 1928. 1927, 1926. So probably quite old tapes that these are taken off. But yeah, it's quality blues. Robert Johnson sold his soul to the devil, allegedly. This is the complete collection. It's on a double album. It's a repress on 180 gram vinyl, and I just love it. Absolutely amazing. I've played it 2 or 3 times, but I don't know, every time I'm having a bit of a blues session, this one's got to go on. This is another guy, Curtis Jones in London. I think it's a live recording. I'd never heard of him. I don't know if any of you guys had, or comment down below. But I'd never heard of the guy, and this was a record store. Still got the price tag on, £10. Never heard of him. Thought I'd give it a punt, and yeah, I really like it. That's what I like about records, sort of doing the second-hand used vinyl in record stores and charity shops, is you come across this kind of stuff, and for the price, for £10, you can't really go wrong. And if you don't like it, you can always resell it on Discogs. You might lose a few pounds on it, but this is another one I'd never heard of. Charity shop find this. Julia Lee, Tonight's the Night. Now, this is a recording from, I believe it's 1952, and this is a compilation album which was released in 1982. But the recordings are quite sort of late 40s, late 1940s, 1950s, and every song on this album has got some kind of sexual innuendo on it. I couldn't believe it. Or maybe it's just my mind, I don't know. But some of the songs on here: King Size Papa, Knock Me a Kiss, That's What I Like, Come On Over to My House, I Didn't Like It the First Time. I mean, for that era, the innuendo in this album is just crazy. Tonight's the Night, Don't Come Too Soon, All This Beef and Ripe Big Tomatoes. Crazy. Smiley Lewis, Hook, Line and Sinker. Again, I believe this was a charity store find. I had heard of Smiley Lewis. Again, this is that kind of blues, getting into jazz feel to it as well. Nils Lofgren, as mentioned earlier with the Grin album. Again, amazing guitarist, absolutely love this guy. I've got a few of his albums on vinyl. Nils Lofgren, I Came to Dance. Nils Lofgren, Cry Tough. And this one I've just got off Discogs, which is Nils Lofgren, self-titled Nils Lofgren. I think that was his, I don't know, I think that might have been his first album under his own name after Grin. But yeah, as I say, really underrated guitarist in my opinion. Like what you're seeing, please hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.